Hello everyone, in today's tutorial we're gonna see how to create a horror animated GIF or GIF in Photoshop. And we're gonna also see how to render it as a video in case you want to use it on Instagram. Alright, fantastic, so let's get to it. Alright, so let's go ahead and open Photoshop. And then I would go to File, New, and we're gonna create a new document. And the reason why we're gonna create a new document because we're gonna create a GIF image. So it needs to be in a reasonable size because we're gonna publish it on the web maybe, or we're gonna use it on Instagram or somewhere else, and it needs to be in a smaller size because it's a video or a GIF, so it would be easy for other people to read it. Alright, so I'm gonna create a new document with this setting in here. So I'm gonna use 1260 pixel in the width and 700 in the height, 72 in the resolution, and RGB in color mode, and 8-bit in here, and I will press OK. Alright, now we'll go ahead and open the image I would be using. So I'm gonna take it and open it in a new tab, and then I'm gonna press Ctrl A, or I will go to select, and I'm gonna choose all in here, and that will make everything in here to be selected, the whole canvas. And then I'm gonna copy it, so I'm gonna press Ctrl C, and I will close it for now, and I'm gonna go back to this document that we created, and I will press Ctrl V. And as you can see, this will put it on top. So now I'm gonna press Ctrl T, and I will make it smaller by pressing Shift, and I will drag like this, and I will zoom in, and I will place it where I want it. So I think somewhere in here. Alright, and then I will click on this check mark. Alright, now I can just get rid of this background, so I will select it and press delete, and then I'm gonna name this model. Alright, next I will go to adjustment in here, and I'm gonna choose solid color, and then I will choose a white color in here, and I will press OK, and then I will call it light. Now we're just making everything ready for our GIF image or a video. So we'll be making all the layers that we'll be using to create it. Alright, and then I'm gonna change the blending mode of this to overlay, and as you can see now it will make this light that looks really cool. Alright, next I will go ahead and open the glitch image that we'll be using. So I'm just gonna take it and drag it in here, and as you can see it will be placed. So I'm just gonna resize it to fit in here, just like this, and then I will click on the check mark, and I'm gonna change the blending mode of this to overlay, and as you can see this will create this kind of glitches on the image in here. Alright, so let me call it glitch, and let me rasterize it. So I'm gonna right click and choose rasterize layer. Alright, now we'll go back to my file in here, and then I'm gonna load this VHS texture in here. So I'm gonna take it and open it in here, and I will do the same, and it's okay if you stretch it like this because it's a texture. And then I will click on this check mark. Alright, let me resize this again. So I'm gonna right click and choose rasterize layer, and I will change the blending mode of this to overlay, and as you can see this will create this really cool effect. As you can see, it looks good. Alright, now we'll hide this both layers in here, and then I will make a copy of the model layer. So I'm gonna select it, and I will press Ctrl J, and then I will take it and put it on top in here, and I will make another copy of it. So I'm gonna press Ctrl J again, and I will call this red, and I will call the other one blue, because we'll be using the channel to create this kind of effect. So I will hide the blue layer for now, And then I will select the red layer, and I will double click on it in here, or you can go to effects in here and choose blending option. And then I will uncheck the green and the blue channel, as you can see, and I will press OK. Now I'm gonna press Ctrl T, and then I will right click and I will choose warp. And as you can see, now we can play with it a little bit. So I'm gonna one click and drag it like that, you know, just to create this kind of effect that look like 3D split. Just like that. And then I will one click on this check mark. Alright, now we'll go to filter, and then I will choose noise, and I'm gonna choose add noise, and I will give it a little bit of noise, so around 7%, and Gaussian is checked and monochromatic is checked, and I will press OK. Alright, now we'll go back to filter again, and this time I'm gonna go to stylize, and I will choose wind, and I'm gonna keep the direction of the wind from the right, and I will keep the method to wind, and I will press OK. And as you can see, this will create this kind of windy effect in here, and that would be all for this layer. So I'm gonna hide it, and I will select the blue layer, and I will make it visible, and then I will do the same. So I'm gonna double click on it, and the layer style will open, and then I'm gonna mess with the channels too. So I'm gonna uncheck the red and the green, and this will leave the blue in here. So I'm gonna press OK, and I will do the same. So I'm gonna press Ctrl T, and I will right click and choose warp, and again I'm gonna play with it just like that. And I don't like this yellow one in here, so I will one click on this check mark, and I will go back to the layer style in here, and then I'm gonna uncheck the blue, and I will check the green and the red, and as you can see, this will make the ghost one in here in blue, and I will press OK. Alright, now we're gonna do the same. So I will go to filter, noise, and I'm gonna add noise, and as you can see, I will keep everything the same, and I will press OK. And again I will go to filter again, stylize, and I will choose wind, and this time I'm gonna change only the direction to from the left, and I will press OK. And as you can see, this would create this effects in here, and as you can see, we already have 5 layers. Alright, now I'm gonna make a copy of the model layer again. So I'm gonna select it, and I'm gonna press Ctrl J, and I will take it and put it on top, and I will call it glow. Alright, and then I'm gonna desaturate it. So I will press Ctrl Shift U, and this will turn it to black and white. And then I will go to filter, distort, and I will choose diffuse glow. Alright, and in the graininess in here I will put 1, and in the glow amount you can adjust this. This depends on how much glow you want on the image. So I'm gonna keep it around 13 or 12, and the clear amount it's also on how much clearness do you want, as you can see. So I will keep it around 16 or 15, and I will press OK. As you can see, this will create this cool glow in here, and then I will grab a regular brush, and I will change the mode of the brush to overlay, and then I will change my foreground color to white, and I will zoom for the eyes in here, and I'm gonna start painting in the eyes with the white color, and the opacity is around 35%, and I'm gonna start in here changing the color of the eyes. Alright, as you can see, now we have this really cool effect, and I will change the mode to normal again. Alright, now we'll hide the glow layer for now, and then I will go to my file, and I will open this skull image. So I will take it and open it in here, and I will one click on this check mark, And again, I'm gonna rasterize it, so I will right click and choose rasterized layer, and I will name it skull. Alright, now we need to blend this skull in the face of the model, so I will press Ctrl T, and I will make it smaller, just like that. And let me put down the opacity a little bit, and I will make it smaller to fit. Alright, and then I will right click and choose warp, and I'm gonna start to, you know, match with the feature of the model. Doesn't need to be perfect, so just to make that kind of skull in the face in here. Now I will right click and choose free transform, and I'm gonna rotate it a little bit, just like that. Alright, and I will one click on this check mark, and then I will make the opacity to 100% again, and I will apply a layer mask on it. So I will one click on this layer mask, and then I will grab a regular brush, and using a black color I will start to delete from this skull image in here, just like that, to blend it with the face of the model. I'm pressing X on my keyboard to switch between the black and the white color. The black allow me to delete from the skull, and the white allow me to bring back the skull. Just like that. I think it looks good. Alright, as you can see, now we have this really spooky image in here with the skull. Now I will hide the skull image for now, and then I will go to the model and I will make another copy. So I'm gonna press Ctrl J, and I will call it zoom, and then I'm gonna press Ctrl T, and I will make it bigger, just like that. And I will one click on this check mark. As you can see, now we have this will zoom into the face of the model, and then I will make a copy of the skull image. So I will press Ctrl J, and you can see now we have a copy, but it's smaller for the face. So I'm gonna, while I'm selecting the skull copy, I'm gonna press Ctrl T, and I will make it bigger so it will fit with the face of the model again. Yeah, I think this looks good, and I will one click on this check mark, and I will select layer mask of the skull, and I'm gonna delete a little bit from here, as you can see. Alright, now I'm gonna merge the both of these layers. So I'm gonna take this skull layer and put it on top of the zoom layer, and I will select them both, and I'm gonna press Ctrl E, and this will merge them together. Now I will go to filter, noise, and I will add a little bit of noise, I think around 3% or 4%, and everything here is the same, Gaussian in here and monochromatic, and I will press OK. Alright, so I think we're almost done with the layers that we need in here. Alright, now I'm gonna apply an adjustment layer before we're gonna do anything with the timeline. So I will go and select adjustments in here, and I will choose exposure, and I will add a little bit of the offset in here, just a bit, and I will bring down the gamma correction a little bit, just around 0.90. And as you can see, this will give it this really cool effect. and I will go back to adjustment, and I will choose brightness and contrast, and I will put the brightness up a little bit, just around 21, and the contrast too around 10. Alright, just like that. And we are ready to create our GIF or GIF image. So I will go ahead and open the timeline. If you can't find it, just go to Window and then make sure that timeline in here is checked. And in this little button in the middle in here, make sure that frame animation is selected instead of a video timeline, and then one click on it. And as you can see, this will create it as a frame. Now, as you can see, we only have the model layer visible in here, and as you can see, it will correspond with whatever we have visible in here. It will be visible in here too. I'm not gonna adjust these two adjustments. This will be visible the whole time, so we don't need to think about this two. Just forget about them. And as you can see now, I only have the model layer is visible. All right. And then I will go and I will make sure that the loop is set to forever. And then in the second in here, I'm gonna put this first one into 0.5. Or you know what? I think I will choose other, and then I'm gonna put 0.7, and I will press OK. And as you can see now, we have 0.7 in here. Now I will go ahead and I will one click on this new layer in here. That's it's right here, so I will one click, and as you can see, this will create a new layer, but it won't change anything in it, because in this second layer it's also corresponded with what is visible in here. So I will go ahead and I will put 0.1 second instead of 0.7. Alright, now for this second frame that we have in here, I'm gonna make this light layer visible, and the glitch layer also visible, and the VHS texture also visible. And then I will go to the skull layer and I will make it visible again, and then I'm gonna change the blending mode of it to multiply, and I will put down the opacity around 50%, just like this, as you can see. Now if I go back to the first frame, as you can see, it will go from here to here. Now I will go and I will create a new frame, and as you can see, we still have 0.1 in the timing in here, which is okay. And then I will hide the skull image by clicking on this eyeball in here, and I will do the same for the light layer too, but I'm gonna make the skull image visible. As you can see, this will create this really cool effect. So now if I go back to the first frame, this will go from here to here and to here. Alright, I think now you have a clear idea of what this does. So we're gonna keep going like this. So now I'm gonna create a fourth frame. So I will one click on this new frame in here, and then I will make this skull image invisible by one click on this eyeball in here, and I will do the same for the VHS texture, and I will go to the skull image, and then I will make it visible, and I will put up the opacity around 100, as you can see. Alright, now we're gonna create another frame, and then I'm gonna make this VHS texture visible, and then I'm gonna change the blending mode of this skull to overlay, and I will put down the opacity around 70%, as you can see. Alright, now I'm gonna create a new frame, and then I will make the red layer visible, and I will make the opacity of this skull to 100%. Alright, now I'm gonna make a new frame again, and then I will uncheck the red layer, and I will make the glow layer visible this time, and I will double click on it to open the layer style dialog, and I will do the same for the channel. So I'm gonna uncheck the green and the blue channel, just like this, and then I will go to the skull layer in here, and I will change the blending mode of it to luminosity, it's like that, and I will hide the glitch layer and the VHS texture, just like this. As you can see now, the eye looks red, and that's what we want. Now I'm gonna make a new frame, and I will hide the skull layer and the glow layer, and I will make the blue layer visible along with the light and the glitch and the VHS texture. As you can see, this will create this insane effect. Now I'm gonna make the last frame, and I will hide the blue layer, and I will make the glow layer visible. Alright, so we're done with our frames in here. Now it's time to adjust the timing of each one of these. So I think for the second frame I'm gonna select it, and I'm gonna put no delay on it, and I will keep the third frame set to 0.1, but for the fourth frame I'm gonna change it to 0.2, and I will do the same for the fifth frame. So I'm gonna put 0.2, and then I will go to the sixth frame and I'm gonna put no delay on it, which means that it will make it 0 second. And I will go to the seventh frame and I will change it to 0.2, and for the eighth frame I'm gonna put no delay on it, which is 0, and for the last frame I will keep it 0.1. So now it's time to check our animation GIF. So I will go back to the first frame, and then I will hit this play button, and as you can see we have this really creepy GIF that it will keep going forever. Alright, so now it's time to share this with the world who need to see this. So I will stop it, and then I will go to File, Export, and I'm gonna choose Save for Web Legacy, and again I'm gonna choose Original, and let me make this bigger, and let me put this in a view. Alright, now as you can see the GIF is way bigger for the web. So if I go and in here and I will choose preview, this will open in a new browser web in here. As you can see, the GIF is 2 megabytes, it's almost 3 megabytes, which is really big for the web. So let me adjust that. So I will close this page in here, and then I will go to this percent in here, and I will put 70%. This will make this GIF a lot smaller than it was. Next I will go in here and I will choose no dither, and in the colors I'm gonna choose 256, and I will uncheck transparency because there is no transparency in here, and I can also modify the lossy in here. So I'm gonna put around 5 to 10 in the lossy, and I'm gonna preview this. So I will one click on this preview button, and as you can see it's 900 kilobytes, which is really good. And the reason why I switched the color to 256 because it's an image, it has some details and we need a little bit of colors. And there we go, this image will keep going like this for no stop. Alright, let me close this browser, and if we want to save it, just one click on this save button, and just name it and click save. But I'm not gonna do that because I already have it, and I'm gonna press cancel instead. And now I'm gonna show you if you want to save it for Instagram as a video. So if we keep it like this, it won't work on Instagram because Instagram will need a longer video than this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna duplicate this frame. So I will one click on this first frame, and by clicking on shift on my keyboard I will go to the last frame and I will one click, and as you can see this will select this whole frames in here, and I will one click and drag to this new frame in here, and as you can see this will make a copy of these frames, and I will do the same. So I will one click on this first frame and I will go to the last frame and I will press shift and one click, and again I'm gonna make a copy of them, and this will be good for the Instagram. So now I will go to File and I will go to Export and I will choose Render Video, and this window will open, and in here I'm gonna choose a folder where I want to save this video, and then I will name it to horror video for Instagram, just like that. And for the format, just choose H264 and keep everything here the same as you can see, and then press render. And now we're gonna wait for it to render. Alright, now we have our video done, so I will go to my folder in here, and you can see now we have this video in here, so I will play it for you. As you can see, now we have a really good video that we can share with the world on Instagram. And that will be all for this tutorial. I hope that you enjoy and you like this video and it was a little bit helpful for you. Don't forget to subscribe and comment, and show me out on Instagram if you tried this effect. I see all the images that you tag me in. So I hope this was fun and have a nice day. Thank you for watching.